I'm sure many of you have seen the news. Texas mall shooting live updates. Victims identified in massacre at Allen Premium Outlets. This is the basic of it. I refuse to play any video footage and watch any video footage of this. And I think it's kind of sick that it's all over people's For You page and no one can avoid it. Genuine America moment, and just all in all very, very depressing stuff. You know the saddest part too, chat? This is like one shooting in like probably like 10 different shootings this week. 200th mass shooting this year. It's every day. It's literally every day. Hot take, but honestly it's probably a good thing it's all over social media. People need to be galvanized. Yeah, but people don't need to see gore and video footage of the actual massacre. I think there was recently a video of someone who they were shot, is all I'm gonna say, and it was graphic. And I didn't see it because luckily this weekend I wasn't home. And people don't fucking need to see that. You can publicize a video and blur the graphic content to show people what happened. I don't think people need to see the gore. I feel like it's different to like see gore and know that it's fake. Like playing Mortal Kombat, right? It's like, yeah, it's gore, but it's just graphic animation. But of like an actual person, an actual death, I don't think anyone needs to see that, man. I really don't think anyone needs to see that. And people just post it. I can't believe Elon Musk literally said, no, these OnlyFans thoughts that are posting pictures of their boobs need to be shadow banned immediately. Oh yeah, you guys can post graphic footage of people literally getting shot. Yeah, that's fine. What the Hello? Excuse me? Murder is okay, but don't you dare pop a titty though. If you need to see the body of a kid shot in the head, you have a serious disconnection and empathy issues. Yeah. From my understanding, I didn't get a chance to see it and I don't plan on looking for it. Not gonna lie, I'm torn between wanting to stay and fight to improve the US and say fuck it and try to become an immigrant to a more civilized nation. I'm really at a loss at this point. Oh yeah, if it wasn't inconvenient for me, I don't have better words to describe it, I would be leaving. I've seen enough dead and maimed people. I think I'll pass. Yeah. So I'm sure many of you guys remember, chat. Many of you remember the internet before any moderation. If you guys have been on the internet as long as I have or longer, I've seen my share of live leak videos. Okay. I've seen all of the major gore videos. I've seen them. I don't need to see anymore. I really don't. And I'm not a squeamish person, but I don't think seeing that is good for your brain. I really don't think that shit is good for your brain. Lively fucked me up for life. 10-year-old shouldn't watch beheading after beheading. I was sadly here for the beginning of the internet. Yeah. I was there for the 1998 Google experience. I saw like the beheading stuff and like there was like this shotgun video. I think we're good on reposting this on people's pages and not even putting a spoiler tag on it to say, hey, incredible violence and gore. We're good, man. We're really good. We really don't need to be posting that shit. Wait, to be clear, I do think like congressmen who continuously vote against gun control legislation should be forced to watch that shit. Like Clockwork Orange style should be forced to watch that. But I really don't think the average person who has a complete lack of control on what happens in your country should be forced to watch that. I think you should be able to scroll on your Twitter page after a long day of work and just enjoy some meme videos, you know? But I think if you are part of the reason why this shit is going on, yeah, I don't care. Yeah, but do they care as long as they get their money? It's fucking sad. It's so pathetic, dude. I'm trying to look, I was trying to look for a post that I saw earlier today. But anyways, there was a video, no, not a video, a post today that I saw of like this congressman who had the audacity to blame the liberals for the gun violence in our country. Truly, truly incredible stuff. Woke propagandists are what caused this problem. Victims include 20-year-old security guard, 27-year-old engineer from India. Gunman killed 8 people Saturday at a Dallas area outlet mall. The 33-year-old shooter, a neo-Nazi sympathizer with an AR-15 style assault weapon, was killed by a police officer who happened to be at the shopping center. Very cool, normal country that we have where you want to go to the mall. I hope you're willing to die because you wanted some sneakers. Unironically, like I only want to go to like friends' houses and my house nowadays. This should be like a literal travel advisory if you want to visit or be a tourist in the US. Going to the mall should not be like, there shouldn't be a risk of sudden death because you want to go to a mall. Okay, I know this is so hopium pilled, but when we eventually fix this whole country, this is definitely going in the books as like the reason why we have gun control. Like fast forward 100 years, historians will say, and we have gun control because during like the 2000s, just everyone died because of gun violence. You couldn't go to the mall without a concern about this. Eventually first feels further and further away. I would like to believe that like because of how frequent the mass shootings are, I want to believe that people have like changed or like people's opinions have changed. Prominent was the word I was looking for. It's insane. I've been to that shopping center so many times over the years when I lived in DFW. How is it just so normal that we can expect this to happen anywhere at any time? It's just sad. There are international travel advisories against traveling to the US right now. I'm not surprised, even a little bit. Even a little bit. It's exactly why I stopped working as a security guard at Smart and Final in LA. The thought of a mass shooting happening is terrifying. Yeah, it's not worth your life, dude. It's literally not worth it, dude. Like, the fucking US is such a I had 3 job offers to move to New York, not doing it. Surprisingly, New York would probably be the safest place for you to go because gun control is so prevalent in New York City. It's very safe. In New York City, you have to be more afraid of the cops. Can you carry in New York? No. I think you can only, first of all, I don't think you can you conceal and carry? I don't even think you can conceal and carry in New York. You have to get a license. Okay, yeah, you can conceal and carry, yeah. But you have to get a license first. And I think you need a cause for it. Like, you have to explain why you want a gun. They're really hard to get, and generally you have to explain why you should own one. So gun control, yeah, so actual good gun control. The problem is that in New York City, that's 8 million people in like this much space. If you take a train to any stop in New York City and just fire blindly with a gun, you're killing over 10 people because of how populated the city is, because of how big the risk is. So government tries to do what it can to avoid, thousands of people dying all the time. I think New York is one of the safer cities in the country. It's just the reality is people think that New York is more dangerous than it is because there's 8 million people. Like when one stabbing occurs, it's like, oh my God, New York is so dangerous. And it's like, that's 1 in 8 million as opposed to all these other cities that have like quadruple 10 times, 100 times that much with like a fraction of the population. Obviously, I'm not going to say like New York is going to be safe if you go to like a bad neighborhood at night. Yeah, like there are bad neighborhoods and there are good neighborhoods, but like Manhattan is like very safe. The Queens, most of Brooklyn, very safe. New York City was the Wild West in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, but we also had like actual gang problems in the 70s and 80s. We don't really have any of those problems now. But unironically, the scariest gang in New York right now is the police. 1,000,000%. And you can't convince me otherwise. And they are a gang. They're literally a gang. There are no words that you can use to convince me cops in the US are anything other than glorified gangs. That's how Boston was too. There's a whole section of the city called Combat Zone in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, the 70s and 80s was also really bad. I believe in California as well. Today is a good opportunity.
On the scene on Saturday in Texas in that tragic mass shooting was a former Army and police officer. His name is Steven Spainhour, and he was rushing to the mall after he got a call from his son who worked at the H&M there when the gunman opened fire. Thankfully, his son, Freddie, who's 25 years old, was not harmed. Steven joins us now. Steven, good morning.
Good morning, Poppy.
Really a terrible morning for you, for your family, for your entire state and this country. As I understand it, you found a child alive with a mother dead, protecting that child. Is that right?
Yes, I did. It's pretty horrific what I saw. I didn't go with the intent of being a first responder or helping anybody. I went to find my son. I was surprised when I drove into the mall that it was the parking lot was empty. People were still sheltering in their cars. People were running away from the mall, and there was one man at the scene that had a connection to 911, and he was having trouble describing to them where he was at and what he was doing. So I just kind of jumped in there, gave some directions on where the shooter went. He gave me a description, and then I started trying to take care of victims. And sadly, the first individual I went to was, and I don't want to be too graphic, but she was not able to be saved. I couldn't save the second guy. The third guy actually expired while I was trying to do chest compressions. The child came out from under what I believe was the mother. It might have been a relative. I don't know how the relation is, but was started to wander around asking for help, saying, "Mom, mom, mama, mama." So I just scooped the child up and took him about 15 feet away so he or she couldn't see what was going on. There was so much blood on the child, I couldn't tell the sex. I just asked, "Are you okay?" Checked for wounds. The first Allen police officer pulled up and he said, "Good God Almighty." I said, "Take the child. Is he hurt?" I said, "I don't care if he's hurt or not. Take him because he doesn't need to be here." So thankfully, the Allen Police Department, this was not a Uvalde situation. The first responders in Allen, Texas, the paramedics, the police officers are truly the heroes.
Yeah. Wow. What you just described, it's unfathomable. Someone dying as you're trying to save them, and a child so covered in blood that you don't know, if it's a boy or a girl at first. Also, the worst nightmare for a parent is to get a call like you got from your son, Freddie. What was that like?
Well, we talked after Uvalde. He had excellent active shooter training from H&M Clothiers. I can't say enough about what they've done to prepare their staff. He's truly the hero because he was in the break room. He said, if I'd have been in behind the window that was shot out by the gunman, I wouldn't be here. He got his staff and his employees into the break room. They took one of the victims shot outside into the store and took care of that victim while they were waiting to be extricated by the SWAT team. So those store employees did what they were supposed to do by locking their doors and having an active shooter plan in place, something I discussed with him many times. Absolutely worked. And I know people were concerned about the response time, but when you're a 911 operator, and I've been there, and you get all these calls, it's not an easy thing to do to find out where you need to send your help.
I'd like to know from you what you want to be done in your state and on a national level. And I preface this question just by letting everyone know, you've said you are a big supporter of the Second Amendment. You're a gun owner. But at this point, in your words, thoughts and prayers have to be followed by action. What specific action?
Absolutely.
Well, what needs to change?
Absolutely. We used to have an assault weapons ban nationally. We can do that at the state level. We can put red flag laws in place. We can limit high capacity rounds. Like I found a live round next to one of the deceased victims. We can stop putting some of these weapons like M4s and AR-15s in the hands of people who don't need them. And I hear our governor talking about mental health issues. We're always going to have mental health issues, but if we don't do something about the guns, the people killing guns, then we're going to continue to have the same thing happen. And it could happen to your family. It could happen to anybody that's watching in any state, in any small town or big city. And until we take some definite actions, we're changing the narrative about it being just a mental health issue and start doing something about the guns.
Bro, he's spitting. Holy, he's fucking cooking.
And you don't think, for example, an assault weapons ban, like we had in this country, by the way, up until 2004, you wouldn't see that as a violation of your Second Amendment right or universal background checks or red flag laws. Is that right, sir?
No, not in the least bit. I mean, we have put limits on speech that prohibits certain types of speech. Mm-hmm. We can put limits in place on our Second Amendment rights just as well. We've got to protect our communities and make sure that they're safe. And I am a big supporter of making sure that we protect our Second Amendment rights, but we can't do so at the jeopardy of our public safety and our health and our families.
Stephen Spainhour, thank you so much for joining us. And I'm so sorry for what you had to witness. And we're all grateful for what you did for those people.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the storytelling and getting the narrative out there that we got to make some change, and now's the time to do it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, at least the guy was like based as it was a refreshing message. Yeah, even if he's only talking about like state laws, which blows, but the reality is anyone who knows anything about US politics, state legislation is one of the best ways to get things federally approved. Most bills come to Congress don't pass until they've already passed in a bunch of other states. I believe that's what happened with gay marriage. It's what happened with like abortion. It's what happened with driving and drinking laws, increasing the age of drinking to 21. Basically, all of them had this sort of pattern. Let me see if I can show you. His point was that he has state power, so he can do it without waiting for federal. Also a good point. Generally speaking, let's say this is the US. Once you can get like, I'm just going to shade in the states like this to show that this is a state that is approved of a certain policy. Once you can get like maybe half the states, what am I doing? California's like this big. Let's just Bible belt it up, okay? Maybe half the states in the US can all agree, you know what guys, actually, we shouldn't be letting 18-year-olds
Unfortunately,
drink.
the guy is an outspoken Democrat, so the far right will say his opinions on the Second Amendment are invalid cause he's not a real gun nut.
Because he the liberal. Because of the fact that the US has zero transportation, it means we have to have the most stringent drinking law. In a lot of other countries, the drinking age is 18. You want to know why? Because people don't need to drive anywhere. Unfortunately, in the US, the drinking and driving age, there's an age. As long as you're above that age, you can drink and drive. It's 21 and up for one reason. It's because kids, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, can't stop drinking and driving. This is the only reason. Once enough states were like, guys, this is like a serious problem we have where teenagers are just killing people in the streets because they're drinking. This is a big mistake. Enough states get on board, it's federally legalized. Same thing with gay marriage. Enough states got on board, federally legalized. And that's why weed is definitely going to get legalized in the US. There are, how many states have legalized marijuana? Like even just medical. Dark green is, I guess, fully legalized. Forest green is medical and decriminalized. Mild green is medical. Light green is decriminalized. So there are currently only 4 states where it is fully illegal, and there are 7 states where you can only sell CBD. So how many states are fully, like 18 or 19? That's crazy. I'm telling you guys, within the next decade, I believe it, dude. I believe it. Within the next decade, it becomes legalized. How many mass killings have happened in Texas this past week? I swear I see a new one each time I look. I'm scared to look at the numbers. I'm really terrified to look at the numbers. I just Googled this. It can't be real, can it? If so, then Americans can't be pro-gun after this. Mass shootings in 2023. May 7, May 7, May 7, May 7, May 6. Every day. Every day. Oh, look, we didn't have a mass shooting on May 4th, guys. At least we didn't have one on the 4th. Normal country. Everyone was too busy celebrating May the 4th be with you. Yeah. I believe this. This is pathetic, dude. This is so pathetic. These are just the mass shootings. If you add singular cases, it's worse. Yeah. Very, very pathetic that we just don't care. That there are literal lawmakers in power and they don't give a fuck that this is a problem in our country. Cool and normal. NRA got them deep pockets. Yeah. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to read this article with you guys. I know it is a Salon article, but conservative America has far more gun deaths than liberal America, study finds. A comprehensive new study breaks down how firearm deaths correlate to pro or anti-gun control policies. A horrific recent trend of mass shootings has severely polarized Americans on the topic of firearms. At the center of this heated controversy lies the policy question of gun control. Should the government impose restrictions on firearms and other dangerous weapons to protect the public? Yes. The answer is yes. Conservatives turn to the Second Amendment to argue that the Constitution's right to bear arms is sacred. Liberals will argue that conservatives are misinterpreting it and that gun control policies have been proven to save lives. The conservative rejoinder to gun control, of course, is that good people with guns can protect the public from bad people with guns. Yet several recent studies have revealed the exact opposite. In regions dominated by pro-gun politicians, the number of gun deaths is far higher than in areas controlled by pro-gun control politicians. This is why I laugh in the face of anyone who tells me yeah, but that's why you need men to protect you. You need good men to protect you from the bad men. It's like, what if we did something to stop bad men from existing? Also, I don't believe you. I don't believe you even a little bit. They're coming for your guns as a carrot for the Republican base. That's all. They know the truth of gun control, saving lives. Oh yeah, of course. The UK had 1 mass shooting in 2023 and no one was killed. Must be nice, man. You guys only get 1 shooting a year. Must be nice. This is the NRA official Twitter. Thank God that as Americans, we have the Second Amendment right to protect ourselves, our families, and our communities. Never take it for granted and always stand and fight to protect it. And this was posted, this was posted 2 years ago. This is so pathetic, dude. So stupid. Oh my God. Foremost among these studies is one produced by the Nationhood Lab at Sal Virginia University's Pell Center for International Relations and Public Policy, and first reported on in Politico. After analyzing gun violence statistics from America's different cultural regions from 2010 to 2020, the authors found that the areas with the highest rates of gun deaths were consistently those run by Republican politicians. Compared to a national rate of 11.4 gun deaths per 100 people, the Deep South had 15.6%. Greater Appalachia had 13.5. New France, including the heavily French areas of Louisiana, had 19.8. Spanish Caribbean had 11.6. Similarly, the First Nation, referring to the heavily indigenous areas of Alaska, had 27.6. And the far west had 12.2. This is a stark contrast to the region's predominantly Democratic northeastern, mid-Atlantic, and Midwestern states. Yankeedom, consisting of New England, upstate New York, and the northern parts of the Midwest, has a gun rate of 8.6 gun deaths per 100,000 people. The New Netherlands, which consists of New York City and its metropolitan area, has a rate of 3.8. Who's the moron in chat that said, LOL, New York isn't safe? Do you feel stupid? Do you feel dumb right now? Do you feel silly? Yeah, New York isn't safe. Literally the lowest rate of gun deaths. When it comes to gun control, bro, when it comes to gun violence, when it comes to dying by gun, New York is going to be the safest place, which is just statistically speaking, it is the safest place. Sorry. I'm sorry to tell you that. Yeah, like all I know, this is all I'm going to tell you guys, chat. Not to say that New York is completely safe. Obviously not. You know, there you can get like mugged or something, but you're not going to like go to see a movie in broad daylight and then have a shooter show up. That's triple and quadruple the rate of New Netherlands, the most densely populated part of the continent, which has a rate of 3.8, which is comparable to that of Switzerland. Yankeedom is the next safest at 8.6. Sad, dude. You say that, Denims, until the Cloverfield monster shows up. Yeah, you're right. My bad. You're right. My bad. I forgot about the Cloverfield monster. The dumbest thing about the good guy with a gun is that even within the logic of the argument, it falls apart. How the fuck is anyone supposed to ID the good guy until shots are fired? It puts you in the exact same place you'd be in anyways. Yeah. All of it is stupid. It doesn't have to make sense. But when a zombie apocalypse takes place, you're going to get wiped out because you have no guns to stop them. Bro, you can't use guns in a zombie apocalypse anyways. This is like basic zombie apocalypse 101. Guns are too loud to use in zombie apocalypses. You need to use like a bow and arrow or like a blade. Come on, dude. Come on. Stealth is the name of the game. Gunfire draws out the zombies. Absolute fool. Oh, God. Oh, my God. Look, guys. We got a bona fide moron in chat.
Why don't you check stabbing in England?
Here you go, buddy. Here, look. Here are the mass stabbings in the UK. We got 2023, 1 person dead, 7 people injured. This one, 2020, 6 people were injured, no one died. 2017, 8 people were killed. How many people were involved in this? Oh, this was by ISIS. Okay. Does this even count? Let's see what else we've got here. David stabbed 15 people. 3 people were seriously injured and needed surgeries. In addition, 5 people were treated for shock. 0 deaths. Weapons, butcher's knife, bread knife. You noticing a pattern, stupid? Hey, dumb fuck. You notice a pattern? Did you notice something? We have people die every day to guns. You guys have 1 person die every 5 years to knives. Check stabbing deaths per capita. Let's see. You know what? Good idea. Let's see. We got a nice little diagram, pictures for the dumb fucking chat. The US is sitting at knife-related deaths, 1.9 million. The rate per 100K people is 0.6. You're so stupid, dude. Like, you're actually the dumbest motherfucker on the planet. The rate of the US is 0.60. Do you know what the UK is? 0.08. The stabbing is even worse in the US. Look at this guy. Check this out. I only told you check. I did not argue. I was just asking questions. I swear I'm good faith. It is totally not. Oh, see, I'm right. Oh, see? Chat, as dumb as we are, at least we're not as dumb as that guy. Anyways, the sad thing is, like, there aren't even like people in the US that say that there isn't a clear mental health crisis in the US. There is a mental health problem in the United States. Are you kidding me? People are more depressed. People have less friends. People are seeing other people less frequently. People have had to deal with COVID. They've had to deal with losing their jobs. They've had to deal with the fact that they can't afford their student loan debt. They can't afford their medical debt. They can't afford to go to school. They can't afford like a 1-bedroom apartment on a single income. People can't afford to have kids in the US. Yeah, people can't even find the time to cook. There is a mental health crisis in the US, 100%. But guess what? Just because there's a mental health crisis doesn't mean we just wait for everyone to become stable again. We can do both. We can have good gun control and we can set up good mental health practices. Like, dude, also it seems so silly to talk about mental health when we won't even give Americans free healthcare. It's such bullshit that the Conservative Party does that. That they're like, oh, we have to care about mental health. It's like, dude, you don't even want to give us normal health. You show up with like a sprained wrist. Here's a bill for $5,000. Are you kidding me? What does good gun control look like, Denims? The policies I've seen that have made some of the biggest difference is removing face-to-face interactions. One quick preface before I go any further is that because of how many guns are in circulation in the US, gun control that exists in like Australia or gun control that exists in the UK is just not something that we can implement here in the US. which is a very sad, but it's reality. We just can't implement the same gun control policy. So, but there are a lot of good ones. 24 or 48 hour wait period are proven to reduce suicide by gun, which is proven to reduce successful suicides, which is good. Removing all face-to-face gun interactions is very good because it helps us keep track of everyone that has a gun, and making sure that people who have a gun had to go through the proper channels to get guns. Currently in the US, there are states that allow you to just like have basically a yard sale and just sell it to someone else. Having good gun control, like safety in terms of like gun cases or proper gun, like this is one of those ones that like you couldn't enforce it, but you would do your best to try and make people do it, right? You would get a punishment if it was found later that someone accessed your gun because you didn't have the correct safety protocols in your house. It would be a reactive crime rather than a proactive one. Even with gun buybacks, most people are not going to sell all of their guns. It's still like not a perfect policy. Gun licensing. You should be forced to get a gun license. And it should be a stringent process. It should be a very difficult process to get a gun. It should take a month to get a gun license. And you should have to sit through like lessons of like gun violence, gun stats, accidental death by guns. Like it should be a lot of work to get your first gun license. Just like a car, it should be way more difficult than a driver's license. The fact that it is so easy to get a gun in the US is bad, actually. Like people need to be aware, and I feel like there are a lot of people who are not aware of like how dangerous guns are. Private sales are weird. All you got to do is you can legally own a gun, right? And the answer is yes. Hand over a few $100 and you got a gun legally. Yep, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. Video explains the Marine Corps gun license process and how much safer it is for them. Sure, let's watch this.
I'm glad that you said that you're a Marine Corps veteran because I wanted to bring this point up. How many times a year do you have to go as a Marine to re-qualify and prove that you are competent and proficient in the weapons that you have been issued? I'll answer that for you as a former rifle pistol coach in the Marine Corps. You have to go annually. And how long does that take? 2 weeks, right? You have a week of grass week and then a week of live fire. Isn't that right? So in the Marine Corps, you have to go for 2 weeks out of your life and prove to the Marine Corps that you are still proficient in the weapons that have been issued to you. Now let's take it a step further. Let's say you're a private through a sergeant that's living in the barracks in the Marine Corps. Are you allowed to store a firearm in your barracks room? The answer is no, you are not. If you privately own a weapon, you have to go and register that weapon with the Provost Marshal's office, and then they issue a receipt to you saying where your weapon will be stored and kept safe for you. Why is it that the United States Marine Corps, the finest fighting force on the planet, is more restrictive in who and where firearms can be stored and possessed than the average 18-year-old in the state of Texas?
Well, I wish I could know what was in the other minute of that video. Maybe if I try one more time.
Continue to pray.
There we go.
And hope that it goes away. Well, guess what, Erica? That's not working. Okay? That is not working. Let's look at the Second Amendment for a second, all right? The Second Amendment says a well-regulated militia. If you believe that the Second Amendment applies to all citizens, and all citizens are supposed to be that militia, what do you think well-regulated means? It doesn't mean no regulations. Jesus Christ, why is this so hard to understand? Doing nothing makes it easier for children to get slaughtered in their schools. All the way off.
Fucking great video, dude. And absolutely correct, man. No gun control after Allen Mall mass shooting, Governor Abbott tells Fox News. Governor Abbott rejected the need for gun control and emphasized the importance of mental health funding in an interview on Sunday about the mass shooting at an Allen shopping mall. Fox News Sunday host Shannon Bream presented the governor with a recent poll that found overwhelming support for expanding gun buyer background checks, raising the age to buy a firearm, and flagging people who are a danger to themselves. I can't believe it has taken this long for us to start suggesting that maybe you should only be able to get a gun after the age of like 21. Okay, so let's fund mental health. Oh, you don't want to do that. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. They literally cut mental health care funding. Oh, okay. Abbott, a third-term Republican, did not endorse any of these measures. Instead, he said Texas lawmakers are looking to further penalize people who illegally possess guns and pump more money into mental health programs. Okay, then why did you cut funding for mental health programs then? Why did you do that? If you care about the, oh, you don't. You're just a demon and you just accept money from anyone who who will give it to you because you're a fucking demon. Ah, of course, yes.
Prayers are important, as we all know in this country, but they're not saving the lives of the people in Texas who are being gunned down week after week, day after day. And when you tried to speak to officials, they basically deflect from it and say, it's not the time. It is not the time.
It's a special place in hell, Eamon, for people that have this kind of problem staring them square in the face and have done nothing about it. I don't care about their thoughts and I don't care about their prayers. I witnessed 8 of 19 funerals a year ago. I spent hundreds of hours looking at body cam footage because I needed to see how our cops failed. I saw babies mutilated with an AR-15. I've gotten to know those families from Uvalde. They're my friends and they're my family, and I love them. This governor and this lieutenant governor, I'm sorry, but they can go to hell. I am tired of these people saying this stuff and doing nothing. When you have responsible governors across this nation, even people like Rick Scott, a pretty conservative guy, him and a Republican-controlled legislature in Florida created massive gun legislation that helps today. Governor Bill Lee, pretty conservative guy, says we need extreme risk protective orders. And here you have Greg Abbott and Dan Patrick praying for all of us some more. I'm sorry. I'm just done with that. I'm just done with that.
Greg Abbott deserves shit that would get me banned if I say it on here. Me too, man. If I didn't care about losing my Twitter account, I would have told him to go something himself.
Open the door or I'm going to throw rocks through your windows, you dumb whore.
But I'm not allowed to say that stuff because that is wrong. You're allowed to post 100 live leak videos and talk about how you want trans people to be genocided. But if you say that Greg Abbott, a guy who has blood on his hands, deserves to be redacted, that's too far. I thought Twitter was about free speech absolutism. Well, here's the thing. So Elon said he doesn't actually want free speech.